Is it still working?
It's still working.
Betcha.
All right, let me find the right screen here.
Okay.
What do you say? Hammer, hammer, hammer.
I think everything's the way it's supposed to be.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, I'm trying to look across all the vast responses here and all the things that should be on and maybe all the things that aren't on. But regardless, this is still the Old Tube Radio Network. Even if I don't have stuff on, there will be radios checking in at 27085 here in the Central Valley of California, like we've been doing for 35, 36 years. It's been a long time, and our faithful shortwave listeners and tube radio operators certainly help us out, keeping things up to date on the newest, oldest tube radios that you can find on your Universal Media Net web or across your 11-meter Citizen radio band, where we have 0 sunspots, according to number 2, and perhaps a coronal mass ejection headed our way. Hello, my name is Dennis, host or net control, at least for this episode of the Old Tube Radio Network. I've got the shortwave listener list ready for the 30th day of January 2021 and a tube radio check-in list. We are going to try to do some other things tonight as well. I should have some Old Tube Radio archive replays. The crew, people were here early today. That's what I can say to help us get set up. I'm looking for all my lists here, but we had the crew in early today to help set up. Charlie was in. Lots of wiring. We're going to try and do a satellite uplink, downlink to actually check in from one of our listeners who's out of the area, but actually check in the radio over the air and hear that. We're going to give that a try. There's all sorts of setup going on for that. I don't know, maybe some digital check-ins as well. We will see. But of course, as you might expect, the local tube radios and shortwave listeners will be ready to go. So with that said, let me see if 00 is listening over.
Yeah, rather confused, but we're listening. 00.
Okay, I've got you. I had something on my screen that was bad. It's like, are you sure you want to delete the whole screen? I just said no. So that's a good thing. Don't be confused. Your lack of confusion has actually started us off to a good beginning here on the Old Tube Radio Network. So I'll get you checked in and we'll see how things go. Also, SWL number 1 on the cosmic side, who always says, if Dennis is net control and isn't confused, then things aren't going the right way. SWL number 2, hello, Mr. OBP. And Kevin is listening, watching on the YouTube video side. 0 sunspot numbers. There were some sunspots a couple days ago. We may have some more. I know the A and the K index are back down, so I think 0 and 3. So it could be some interesting times coming up in the next couple of days. SWL3. Shortwave listener number 4. SWL5. SWL6. Shortwave listener number 7.
SWL7 checking in.
Okay, checking in and checked. I need another table. I just realized I need another table here to set all my papers on. Well, I've got the check mark, the X, whatever we do in that ever popular square. You're in it. Over.
Well, thank you, and I'll be warming up some tube radios.
That's a good thing. That's why we're here, to hear those classic tube radios on the old Tube Radio Network. SWL10. That's let's go up to Idaho, where I bet the weather has been cold. Chrissy says 10 and 30 are checking in. I will get everybody at the appropriate time. Thanks for jumping in tonight. Let's see. Heading over to SWL 13. I will check for Mr. Cobra on the big screen and perhaps on the Facebook side over to SWL 14. And let me take a moment here. One of our net controllers, longtime SWLs, and all around good guy, SWL 15, that's Fred in Easton, passed away a month or two ago. And it is a big loss to us. He was one of the first stations that figured out how to not only house but wire up 20, 30, 40, and dare I say 50 radios into his console and run the microphones and the antenna. And on a good day, when he was wanting to be ornery and not at being net control, he could keep a net control busy checking in at least 30 radios. So sorry to report that Fred has passed on, but of course he will become one of our virtual shortwave listeners. So I'm going to have a moment of silence for Mr. Desert Rat. And Fred will be missed. He was also a ham radio operator as well. Coming up next, SWL 16. Charlie was helping us out early, working overtime today, getting all the wiring set up for this possible uplink, downlink, whatever it is we're trying to do. And I'm looking through to see they've got some type of weird antenna situation going on. And they are heading out the door up to the roof, so that's going to be coming up in a second. So Charlie out there in, what are you showing up today? Showing up as in Anoka? No, Belfast, of course. All right, well, that will work. SWL 17. SWL 18.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, please.
Hey, Dennis, can you check me in early 650?
650, you are sounding good, and I can get you checked in, sir. No problem.
Thank you. We'll see you next weekend.
All right, so we should be here. You're sounding good. Have a great rest of the weekend. Got a proxy check-in for 18. And SWL 19. I think I got my numbers confused here. Chet, who was in Belfast, Maine. I called you Charlie. Charlie's in Anoka, Minnesota. He doesn't move around. But Chet in Derby, Belfast. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Guys move around so fast. Anyway, Chet, thanks for the extra help here. We're going to see how it works, how it plays out here in just a moment. Let me see who is listening. Of course, up in the front row here, Belfast, Canby, Oregon. You know, Bill was in too, helping. SWL 67 needed an extra hand to kind of zip tie the stuff on the roof here for the uplink. Thanks, Bill. Hello to Auberry, Fresno, Woodland Park, Colorado, beaconing from the snow drifts up there at Well, who knows? Who knows how high? Fish Camp is listening in, back up. The internet was down up there, and it came back this afternoon. Hello to Rockford, Illinois. Fairfax, Virginia, coming up to you. Hello to Boulder Creek, California. I think that is our uplink station, so that means they are in. This might work. Hello to San Francisco, Anoka, Minnesota, of course. Blackpool is in Toronto. Lawrence, Kansas, listening in. The unknown SWL. You see somebody up on the balcony with the paper bag over their head and a bag of popcorn. That's the unknown SWL. Kerman Reedley from California, of course, Fresno, Mox Corner, South Carolina, Colorado Springs, and stations from Fresno. So here we go. Let's go to SWL 20.
Number 20 here, check in 29 and 54, and hopefully 135 will check in himself. We'll see.
Well, if he doesn't, he might be surprised. He might end up checking in on a replay. We've got you're sounding good, Harvey. We've got you checked in. Over to SWL 21, the host of Old Radio Night, who was on tonight with the, I think it was E.F. Johnson Messenger 220. It wasn't the 222. He said the 222 wasn't working. It's the 223. Let me bring up if I can find it here. Let me bring up the replay of Old Radio Night tonight and Mr. JT at the helm.
Roger, roger.
And JT's got this giant on-the-air light.
25.
When he keys up, this on-the-air light comes on. Check out the replay on the...
You have your usual serenade there for the...
oh, wait a minute.
Tube Radio Network.
Hold on just a second here.
That last night, KG60 could be.
I want to hear Dennis talking about OCBs. He looks like Mo Rocca from CBS TV. But Mo Rocca don't have a candle, or doesn't hold a candle to that Dennis T on that old Tube Radio Network. That old Tube Radio Network. Oh, Dennis is going to be in Fresno tonight. It's going to be a great night on that old Tube Radio Network because you're going to learn a lot about CDs.
Well, there you go. The Old Radio Night, beaconing from the Wasama Swamps, the receivers of the Wasama Swamps, and we don't have any copyright violations when we get the song. Thanks so much for that. Gets a little bit crazy on the CB radio. Let's try SWL 22. All right, now if you thought that was crazy, SWL 23. Are you guys ready? Okay, they're out up on the roof. Let me bring up the uplink receiver. I don't know how this is going to work, but let me bring up the audio here. See if we're hearing anything. Oh, I got to turn it up. I've got to turn up the audio receiver. I've got to turn down. Let's see. There's just too much to go. So let's turn down this. Okay, I do hear it. I do hear the audio coming out of the uplink receiver. So let's see if we've got beaconing on the satellite, SWL 23, live and direct maybe. We'll see what happens. OTR is listening over.
Hello, Dennis, and good evening to all the SWLs. This is 23 Skidoo checking in from the surfing capital of America here in Santa Cruz, California, via TubeStar 1, the recently launched Citizens Band communications satellite, currently passing over the central coast of California. Over.
Yeah, over. I don't know how you timed it so well. that we have the pass. Hopefully, when the tube radios start up, if you've got a radio, we would like to try this again, to actually hear your radio over the air. That would be an OTR first. We're talking to SWL-23 Mitch, who is actually on his radio. We're linking it through the satellite here, so we're actually hearing him talking on the radio. So back to you, Mitch, for another transmission. And if you can, I know you have a new radio you've been working on. Just let us know if you think you can try to come back sometime during the old tube radio check-ins here and give us a call. We'll be listening for you. Over, over. Can you move that antenna just a little bit to the left? Yeah. It looks like the signal strength is down. Yeah, move it over there. See if he can come in here.
Okay there, Dennis. Thanks for the check-in. And if the bird link stays up for a few more minutes before going out over the Pacific, we'll give it a whirl at the appropriate time. Over, over.
All right, good deal. Let me bring the link down, or actually, it looks like you're fading out anyway. So, all right, SWL-23 on the satellite uplink as it fades out. We will try it again, maybe 45 minutes or so. I don't know how the next pass comes around, and we might actually be able to pick up a remote tube radio. Thanks, everybody. The initial test has worked out well. Let's go over to SWL-24. SWL-25.
Hello, Dennis. Sounded good tonight. 25 checking in.
All right, you're close enough where we don't need to run satellites to pick you up. Sounding good here.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that the rain gutter and tuna is working. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, it's working. They are up on the roof with whatever they're doing. It looks kind of like trash can lids from what I saw earlier today. So I don't know exactly what they're doing or where they have to point, I guess. But we have really clear skies. The rain cleared up the air here. You can see the moon, the stars, so it really is working out great tonight for them to track the satellite.
Roger, Roger. And one last comment. Thanks for doing what you do for the last, 34 years, and much appreciated, Dennis. Anyway, back to you.
Like yourself, I am one of the many. So it's good to be here in the air chair. Also, as we turn to page 2, Timtron, Mr. Tim up in the Pacific Northwest is listening in. He is out in the mountains for Winter Field Day. He does have a lot of videos of him doing portable mountain topping. And Tim, you may not be listening at this particular point, but I finally got the Fusion and the Wires X up and running. So I'll have to see if there's a room or something up near you, and we'll give it a shot. But I've been watching some of your videos on the, I think the last one you were up with hitting the portable repeater up on the mountaintop there. We're holding the VHF antenna. I think you were on the handheld. I don't think you were on the 991. So Tim Tron is listening and doing the Winter Field Day, which is going on this week. I wonder who else might be doing that. Over to page 2 for SWL-27.
27's checking in via the FM crossband. KI6QEL.
And you are sounding good via the FM crossband. We've got you checked in from FM to AM. Thanks for listening. KB6GFD.
Roger. Thanks, Dennis. KI6QEL.
All right, keeping me busy here. We go from satellite to AM to FM. Dwayne on the crossband link. Let's go to the Universal Media NetWeb link, SWL-28. That is Gary, and there are a lot of transmissions here on the big screen. So I'll see if Gary is in. I might have missed him, but if he checks in, I will make sure I get to 28 up and running. From Sacramento, we could probably do a satellite uplink with him. SWL-29, of course, Mr. Loner getting the proxy check in. And And SWL30, who needs, Dwayne needs no satellite uplink. He's one of the few stations on our digital list that is actually checked in over the air without the need of trickery or anything like that. Just good old RF. So, Dwayne, we've got you checked in as well, and we'll see if we can't get some conditions. Over to SWL 31. Checking the big list here, see if we've got Tennessee in. Don't see them just yet. I will check them out. SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, and all the gang here helping us out on whatever they do. Jingle Singers, we've got extra crew tonight doing the satellite uplink up on the roof, so everybody stays safe. Let's go over to Mr. Railroader, SWL 34, Jimmy, up in near Chicago. He might be adding some more pictures to the Old Tube CB Radio Network Facebook page, where he's doing a great job of informative and really neat stuff. So check that out over at on Facebook, the Old Tube Radio CB Radio Facebook page. Who else? SWL 35. Here's another guy that gets around without the aid of satellite uplinks, Mr. Bill, who we saw last night on the Ditchbank sideband net. And he is no doubt listening. Let me scroll down my screen and see what Mr. Bill has to say. Checking in from Cheyenne. I guess he doesn't even say it's snowy and cold. That should be a given here at the end of January. Mr. Bill, you are checked in, and you're looking good. Next, we are going up to SWL 36, SWL 37.
SWL 37 here checking in, and also I want to let you guys know I talked to Ed today. He is doing better. He did get in. They didn't have to cut him open. They got to put the stents in. He's still kind of weak from it all, in the spinal area there. So, but he said he's going to try to check in as soon as possible. But he said if he can't make it in tonight, for me to proxy him in. So hopefully you got that down just in case, Dennis.
I've got that down just in case, and we'll make sure that he gets checked in here coming up. And sounds like he is good to go and will be on the mend soon.
Yeah, hopefully he's got a way to go. He still can't do a whole lot for you. Like I say, it's on that main artery going up by the spine and everything. So you got to be careful for a while. And you don't have the radio in the trail, in the 100 live in. It's in his other house. So it's cold over there. He ain't got the heater hooked up yet.
Yeah, it's cold all over, so light a fire somewhere.
Absolutely. Anyway, I wanted to get that in there real quick while I could.
All right, thank you. We got you checked in. We'll get everybody else, too.
All right, sounds good, Dennis. Take care. I'm listening.
Mr. Christopher at the Microphonium, 37. How about SWL 38? All right, and Timtron is in. I see your room. No, yeah, we'll check that out. In fact, we might try a link up tonight with another station. I don't know. We've got some locals here. They're also working on links and rooms, so it could be interesting. And as they say, good luck in the contest on field day, where the weather has dried up here in Central California, but it is really cold. So my guess is if you're not getting rain or snow up there, it's just super cold, so stay warm. All right, Mr. Jimmy is in, SWL 34. I thought I heard the railroader coming through. Jimmy, we've got you checked in Batavia tonight, from Batavia tonight. Thanks for listening into the Old Tube Radio Network. Over to SWL 39. Was that 39 in there? Over? Okay, I think that's adjacent channel interference. and pardon me if that was 39 and I called you adjacent channel interference, but usually I hear you better even from the haystack. How about SWL 40? SWL 41? SWL 42. I'm going to give 42 a check-in. I actually was listening from afar and heard him barely coming. I don't know where he was at or what he was doing, but he was making it through, was it 38 sideband? Anyway, he's out there on some radio at some location. So if you're listening to Mr. KW, we got you checked in. SWL 43. I've got Crazy Eddie checked in. He should be up and running soon, back on the air. And 507 from Hudson Valley, New York. Hello, Mr. Road Dog 41. We've got you checked in. Says stay warm, everyone. Yeah, I think it's cold all over. Although I heard somebody talking today back in the Midwest saying it was 65, but I wasn't able to jump in and say, you just wait. or we're sending some cold weather your way. Next is SWL 44. And that's Ray, Mr. 360, who probably is somewhere on my comments. Somewhere on my comments page, unless you're trying it live. Hello, 44? Okay, I'll put a question mark there because I bet he is around somewhere. Question, what channel does this happen on? This is channel 11. We are in the Central Valley of California, Central California. Not hearing any conditions on the E-skip. But if you've got one of those beams like John Motormouth Mall does, point it towards Central California, wherever you might be, channel 11, 27085, which is the crystal most often found in an old tube radio. And since this is the old tube radio network, that's why we are here. Let's try the guy that checked in is 00, SWL 45.
Well, your radio sounds good, I'll tell you that. Whatever you're doing, you did it right. Back to you. Did you forget your pen?
You know, I'm glad you should. I've got a horrible pen, you know, one of those new styled things that has no ink in it, and we have been re-upped. I was running out of pens, and I thought our sponsor was going to leave us, and they sent us some new pens and pencils. So when we start the tube radios tonight, I will find out who our new sponsor is here in 2021. The pocket protector will not go undone.
Okay, looking forward to it.
All right, thanks for checking in. 45 is in. And Tim, well, Tim is in because Tim is busy with the field day, so I want to catch him when he's got his ear towards the Universal Media Network. I've got a setting for 1455625 in the radio. I've got a couple of power levels, and then occasionally I'll do the GM, and send a beacon out to see if there's anybody listening. So far, I have yet. And as long as the radio's been up here on the table, I have yet to capture anybody on the Fusion Simplex frequency. And I've changed my step to 625. So it's in there. It's one of the channels, but I have yet to hear anybody. But occasionally I'll just flip it over, do a GM beacon just to see, like I think you said, somebody might be driving up the interstate, and it'll ding the radio, and we can get a conversation. So that is plugged into the rig. Let's go over to SWL 46. SWL 47.
Well, good evening, OTR and all the other SWLs out there. Greetings from the Radio Lounge, where we are normally pretty proud of our amplitude modulation. But I'll tell you what, I'm certainly impressed and intrigued by the earlier satellite check-in. That was pretty interesting, pretty impressive, and I definitely have some questions in the back of my mind, but perhaps later. So anyways, good evening call again from the Radio Lounge.
All right, you have questions, we might have answers. We're going to try it again. So I don't have the pass information. They've got it. I see that they've come in off the roof where it was cold. So when the next pass is coming over, it'll be during the radio check-ins. And Mitch is going to try and put on his old tube radio. Yes, we are hearing the actual output of whatever's happening. So a first. I remember when we did our first mobile radio check-in, and now we have our first satellite link check-in. And like I said, we might end up doing some fusion tonight. Who knows? We are going to have some old tube radio replays, if I remember to do that. So it should be an exciting time woven in between all the radios that we'll be checking in tonight. We've got you checked in. Thank you, Mike. Also, while I've got the microphonium keyed, I want to say hello to Gary, SWL28, who's made it in while I'm still on page 2 here up in Sacramento. And I was wondering, I know the way the storm worked a few days ago, it seemed like northern part of the valley got hit quite well, and Gary is confirming that. He said he's been out working late on the fence and the roof shingles where there were 60-mile-per-hour winds that did some damage. Here in Central Valley, it wasn't that bad. Maybe up in the hills they had some issues. I know they had some road closures, and we lost power up at the FM radio station transmitter, which is at about 4,500 feet, lots of snow. But we didn't seem to get the winds that you guys had, so good luck. I hope you didn't lose any antennas, and you can get everything ship-shape and back where it needs to be for the next round. So thanks, Gary. Got you checked in. The Old Tube Radio Network is what you're listening to. Stay tuned, because the glow-in-the-dark radios will be beaconing our way shortly after the roll call here. Looking for SWL 48. And linking somewhere, I heard him earlier and he sounded great on whatever radio he was on. SWL 49.
Checking in here along with Sweet Country Mama, waving a hand for her. Hope you guys are all doing well. It was an absolutely beautiful day out today, and we just enjoyed the hell out of it. Hope you guys did as well. Thank you very much for the check-in, Dennis, as always, and we are wishing you guys all a great OTR evening.
So far, so good. Boy, you've got a great signal and good audio, so you've really figured it out, at least for the transmit side. I know the receive side is still having some issues, but you're looking good. So 73 to you, and Sweet Country Mama, thanks for checking in. SWL 50.
And a good evening. 50 here, checking in.
All right. I guess the wind did blow up a few things and unearthed SWL 50. Hello, Mark. Hope you're doing well.
We're all good.
All right, great. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
With a big S9 signal on the meter here tonight. Hello, Dave. You are sounding good in the Old Tuber Radio Network tonight. Thanks for listening.
And have a good evening.
All right, I'm getting some strange feedback. If you see smoke, I can't see behind me unless I look at the camera. I see strange smoke coming up behind me. Let me know. In fact, let me take a look. What do we got here? This is notes. In fact, here's the satellite uplink we were working, trying to get this stuff up on the roof. So that's what's going on back there. Seems to work so far. 51 is in. Over to SWL 52. Sometimes Dwayne comes in on the video side. We'll check him. SWL 53.
Hello, Dennis. I hope you're doing well. You got 53 Bel Air on the east side checking in.
From the east side to Midtown, you are sounding good. Thanks for checking into the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you very much.
Let me see who else has joined us. Hello, Squamish, BC, the gang. They're up in the balcony. They were trying to throw some popcorn down my way to get my attention, but I just happened to look up there. So eat your popcorn and stop throwing it. While we're, let's see, Bob and Steve, we'll get to Bob and Steve in just a moment. The Bob and Steve show has arrived. I noticed the limousines when I looked out the back here. I saw the limousines coming up in the drive here, the old Tube Radio Network, so they should have some exciting stuff for us. Page 3, SWL 54, Mr. Boardjammer with the Cosmic check-in. SWL 55.
55 checking in.
All right, hope everything survived the sogginess and the snowiness, and what else could go right. Anyway, you're sounding good.
Thanks, Dennis. It wasn't much snow. I've lived through 10 times more than that.
Yeah, I was looking at the camera, some of the PG&E cameras up at the Meadow Lake site, and it was like, that's a little more snow than usual, and they're only at 4,500. So sometimes that extra 500 feet or so makes a big difference. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you. I need a proxy 65 too at the appropriate time.
All right, will do.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
All right, you're sounding good, Phil. Thanks for checking in here to the old Tube Radio Network. That takes us over to SWL 57, BDA, Brown Dog Audio from Central Kentucky's checking in. Says much progress has been made on the ham shack here at Brown Dog Audio. Hopefully more than I have been doing, but I've been making a few things. It's always nice. This is a good time to build up, as Brown Dog Audio is doing, build up the ham shack, or even start one as we are in the bottom, starting cycle 25. Best time to get the ham shack going or get your license, because it's just going to be great for the next 5 or 6 years. He's looking forward to checking in from the new and improved BDC. That's the Brown Dog Compound soon. Maybe via satellite. Well, you never know. Or one of our link-ups here. We'll make sure that everybody has a chance. So, yeah, that should be good. Keep up the good work. We'll figure out something. Even if it's by, semaphore, with a flag waving outside the window here. Next, we've got SWL 58.
Proxy him if you don't hear him there on the fusion.
Okay, you know what? I'm not even on that frequency, but we might be on a little bit later. I think I heard him earlier saying that he probably had some things that needed to get done, so I'll get him checked in. Jeremy, SWL 58, is the moderator, is that the right word, of something that happens Friday evenings here in the Central Valley called the Ditch Banks Sideband Net. It's on lower 36. Let me see if we've got some audio from that.
112 Rickshaw checking in.
All right, thank you for being there, sir.
That's the voice of Jeremy right there. And Wayne, who'll be checking in shortly.
Operator 339, Jeff Mariposa.
Good evening, Jeremy, and everybody on the net. 339, Jeff up in Madera. No traffic. Everybody have a good evening.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate you checking in. And we'll go down a little bit there to Madera and see if Mr. Jerry, Operator 321's around.
Oh, there he was. There was Jerry on his, I think he was on his roof flashing antenna. Anyway, that's 38 lower, Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. It's on the Universal Media Netweb under Ditch Banks SSB Net. Give it a listen, because there's a chat room there as well. Occasionally we'll have some skip conditions going on. Of course, it'll be the E-skip to the West Coast, up and down the West Coast, but we've had some check-ins, so listen in for that. Just another way to enjoy your radio. Also, there is an SDR display that is happening at the same time. So you'll be able to watch that as well. Thanks, Jeremy, for putting that on. We've got you checked in. Over to SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you, Dennis, and evening time to all the fellows, all the listeners. SWL 60, checking in on this 223.
It sounds good. That was the radio that was featured tonight on the old radio night. And looking good and sounding good. We'll see. Maybe the E.F. Johnsons will be the most heard radio tonight. You never know. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
SWL 61.
61, check it in, Dennis.
SWL 61, he's, what is the word, ubiquitous, or omnipresent? I hear him on the sideband net with great signals. I hear him on the AM net with great signals, and always a gentleman. Thanks, Dean, for checking in.
Thank you, sir.
SWL 62. SWL 63. And I will get 63 proxy, and that's Butterbean, who's in North Georgia, who was on the old radio night tonight. SWL 64. SWL 65 has got a proxy check-in for Eric. SWL 66. SWL 67, Bill, up in beaconing down from Canby, Oregon, who was helping us out early tonight, getting the coaxes and the antennas run for the satellite uplink. So far, so good. Thanks for your help, Bill. We got you checked in. SWL 68. SWL 69. And that's Kenny in Tulsa, who will, if he's not listening in now, he'll stop by and watch the video replay. Ken, who was local to us, is now in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and enjoys the old Tube Radio Network on the replay or maybe live. So, Kenny, we're saying hello. Let's see, while we have a chance, let me say hello to some of our video listeners. Someone said, is this a local thing? Well, the radios you hear over the air, of course, are local RF, unless we're getting some skip. It doesn't often happen in the evening. And this is something that we've been doing for about 35 years, believe it or not, when a group of people kind of got together and said, let's bring out the old radios and just talk on those, just a way to put them back on the air. Like driving an old car. You know, if it sits in the garage, it's not going to start up. So you want the old radios out at least once a week. And also get the flavor on air, what it might have sounded like, the audio, the tube audio, the demeanor of the operators, and all of that. So that's what we do with the old Tube Radio Network. Have a good time on our citizen band radios, the way it was supposed to be. Maybe not what the FCC thought it would be, but sort of the way it turned out to. Hello to Lloyd is listening in. Popcorn 913, always standing by with, I don't know what flavor popcorn he's got. X4000 is beaconing in and will be in the studios here shortly to help us start the Tube radio section. Paul V, hello, Paul is in and listening as well. I want to say hello to, we're coming up to 83, we're coming up to you. Neil, we're coming up to you. Tim Tron, who is also doing the field day item. Who else did I miss here who's up and listening? Anyway, if you're jumping in from one of the Facebook pages, thanks for stopping by. And hopefully you do something similar to this in your area. Kind of get on the air tonight. Hello to Sid Vicious is also, Sid Vic, I guess I should say. But anyway, they're out there listening. North Charleston is on tonight. A lot of people jumping in here to the old Tube Radio Network. Let's see if Mark is on SWL 70. And from Dallas, Georgia, SWL 71, Stan is in. He's checking in from Dallas, Georgia tonight, out there in in 4 land. Thanks for listening. SWL 72. SWL 73. Got a check-in for Miss Jilly, SWL 74. Who's next? SWL 75. SWL 77.
Well, good evening, Dennis. 77 coming to you live with the Cam 88 on the Tower of Power, checking in, and 73s to all the listeners.
Tower of Power sounding good. I take it all the antennas made it through the windstorms, right?
Well, for the most part. One of them looks like a banana up there, but we took it down today and found out it had about a gallon of water inside the antenna. In fact, it was full all the way to the top, 5/8 weight vertical, full of water. So that one's laying out there out back waiting to be serviced, but everything else is doing good.
Doing good, looking good, and got you checked in. You know, I heard you making contacts on that antenna. It was working perfectly well. In fact, we've got a replay. I don't know what's going on, but you're going to take care of that.
You did that really well. Yeah, we'll get it squared away.
All right, 73, thanks for listening. Over to SWL 78. Let me jump over to the other screen. I thought I saw Richard, who's really good at jumping in and catching my attention. Is he there? I thought Wildemore was on my screen somewhere. I have heard him on 40 meters with a great signal on the Monday swap net. I'll refresh if you're in there. If you're in there, Richard, I will make sure that I got you checked in and didn't miss you somewhere. Let's go to SWL 79.
79, checking in.
All right, you've got the extra log on the fire tonight. Sounding good. SWL 80. We go into page 4. Tube radios, the glow-in-the-dark radios are coming up tonight. Hello, Albert, at the top of the comments section. Albert and the gang, the boys from Squamish, British Columbia. Let's see what's happening on the Bob and Steve show. I apologize because we kind of messed up the green room tonight, running the cables through for the satellite uplink, but they've got them up through the elevator shaft and out in the parking lot, so hopefully the limousines weren't having any issues to park. What's happening tonight? It says, good evening, Dennis. The Jingle Singers came short of players. Well, I think we were using them to help set some of this stuff up for the beanbag tournament in the Green Room Lounge next week. So, okay, anybody want to do a beanbag tournament? I don't know if I've ever been in a beanbag tournament. Been some tournaments, but at least if you get angry, you probably won't get hurt when you get pelted by beanbags. So they added you. Oh, wait a minute. I keep reading, Dennis. They added you to fill in with the teams. Well, which end am I on? I hope I'm not on the catching part. You will be with Joy in the AM and Mary in the PM. All right. Joy is on the red team and Mary is on the blue team. Shirts are red and blue and say Dennis number 33, just like this one. People don't believe that I actually, if you're net controller, you want to get dressed up and do the thing right, just in case. I do that. I do that because they look at me and they want to throw me out. They say, what are you doing in here? And I show them my official shirt. And then they kick me out over here in this air chair. Let's see. Check the bulletin boards by the elevator for game times, which I will do. Watch out if you're checking the bulletin boards for the cables running over the floor for the uplink tonight. And have fun at the bar tonight from South Carolina with grits and thick ground corn on a bed of fresh from the sea shrimp and other mix-ins like bacon garlic, lemon Girl Scout cookies, drink of choice, and don't forget to feed the fish. The fish are there somewhere. Just don't, what I would say is don't overfeed the fish. There is a sea more. Let me see what's going on here. P.S. It's snowing here in 30 degrees, as you might think it would be in winter in Ohio. Here it may be 30 degrees tonight, but it won't be snowing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the help for dolling up the green room and the Old Tube Radio Network for those who are checking in, giving them a nice spot to repose until they hang it on the air. Thanks. Page 4 is where we're going to SWL 81. Steve Areno, Mr. Unicorn from the safe and sane and sheltered-in-place secret radio lounge. And Steve was listening in last week and said, hello to everybody. We miss you, Steve, but thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 82.
82 checking in. Thanks for doing that, Dennis.
Hey, thanks for listening in. We are hanging out. Try not to blow it up. See if we can hang out for another hour without mishap. Over to SWL 80. I got to get 82 checked in. You can see if you check in. If you're watching the video, it'll say on 83 it says checking in. SWL 83, and since I've seen Epimetheus 83, not only on the old radio night, but here on the Old Tube Radio Network, you will notice that it goes to checked in. So 83, you are checked in as well you should be tonight. Thanks for listening into the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 84. SWL 85. And I will get 84, that's Cheerios Kid, and 86, 87, and 88. The ladies, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl checked in as well. Over to SWL 89. SWL 90 has a proxy check-in. I'm getting behind on my numbers here. And then we go to SWL 91, Felix. Where is Felix tonight? Did I miss you? Oh, you're right there. You're right there. Checking in. And thank you for the thoughts on Mr. Fred. I should have a picture somewhere. He was, when we had our, long ago, back in the 1980s, when we had our Old Tube Radio picnics, Fred was the guy, along with myself, that worked at the barbecue grill for the hamburgers and hot dogs. He was much better at it than I was, that's for sure. Over to SWL 92. SWL 93. I'm going to get a proxy check-in for 93. And who is the break OTR over?
Yes, this is SWL 40 with a late, but not here check-in.
All right, I hear you. It sounds like you might be down in the basement. You sound a little bit different, but you are checked in on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Yes, I'm on the Kenwood 680 here.
All right, I hear you just fine. So you are checked in, and thanks for hopefully safely running up the steps.
Yes, going down is treacherous.
Yeah, the treacherous frequency here. Okay, we're on page 4. If you're playing the home game, you have checked in, you have proxied in SWL 93. And you have your pen, crayon, or writing implement of choice poised above SWL 95, where I believe you will also be putting the check in for digital listener Warthog 95, who is saying, hello, radio. From another 4, from Whiskey Romeo 4 Bravo. That's one of those good calls for shouting out when you're trying to get that DX station. Nice and concise. All right, 95, you are checked in. Then we head over to SWL 97 from Boston. 97. I saw 97 in on Old Radio Night. And maybe I missed him on these screens here, but I'm going to give him a check-in, and I'll make sure that I have looked correctly to get him in. Let's go to locally up to over to SWL 98.
98 checking in. Hey, Dennis, when did Fred die?
In the beginning of October. Over.
I've known him 40 years. I live less than 600 feet from him, and I didn't even know he died.
Yeah, we unfortunately found out not too long ago, and then I went back and searched the check-in roster I have, and there's like, the last check-in was in October for him.
Wow, that's too bad. I feel sorry for him. I've known him like 40 years. Really a nice guy.
Yeah, one of those, really hate to lose him. Just a nice guy, and so, yeah, I'm not sure. Somebody brought it to my attention. We did a little research, and it's like, yep, that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm real sorry for that. He's got like a tower to die from. He's got like a 80-foot tower with multiple antennas on it.
Yeah, lots of radios, a ham radio operator. Like I said, he was probably I don't know if anybody's ever going to be able to top what he used to do, is can check in 30 and 40 radios in a night just because of that great system he had and switching things around. So, cool stuff.
All right, I'll let you go. Thanks a lot. I'll have to figure out a way to say, he lived alone, so he had a daughter back east, and yeah, too bad.
If you have Facebook, I know he had a Facebook page, and that may be some information up there, too.
Yeah, he's a great Harley rider, too. He has a nice, beautiful Harley.
Now, that I didn't know.
All right. Thanks, Dennis.
The Old Tube Radio Network, the radios are coming up shortly, so stay tuned for that. If you've got one, start warming it up because we'll get it checked in. Over to SWL 103. Shortwave listener 109. SWL 110. 111 checked in earlier. If you listen to the archives, let's see, would he be on the archives? No, he'd be on because we weren't recording then. But a great signal, S9 signal, just we have a little bit of a problem beaconing back to Reedley. So, Bob, if you're listening, I got you checked in. Or you are checked in. Over to SWL 113. And there is 78. All right, Richard, I thought I saw you. Maybe I just didn't refresh the page for the wonderful Wildemar station, also on YouTube. All right, so let me give you the official blast up on the big screen here that 78 is officially checked in. And I don't know, maybe we'll get some conditions. Who knows? Over to SWL 114.
114 checking in.
SWL 114, Wayne sounding good. Also puts in a big signal on the sideband. That's on Friday night. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for the check-in.
Next we have SWL 128 from the digital side. That is John, who is checking in. Snow starting about midnight through Monday evening, possibly up to 8 inches. All right. It's very small on the screen, but I didn't want to say 8 feet. 8 inches depends on track, but that's 8 inches more than I would want to deal with. Anyone else missing the videos over the internet? You know, someone said that there's a few people saying they're having internet issues. I have a what I call replay confirmation. Let me wave to myself. Hello, Net Controller. And at some point, I'm looking for the latency. Yeah, it's actually slower tonight. I should have been seeing there it is. I'm waving now. So that's like 3 times the delay. So maybe something is up. Maybe my internet pipeline is being squeezed down. Maybe they've stepped on the cables trying to run all that stuff up on the roof. I don't know. So apologies for those who are having some internet issues with the video, but it does seem to be on, but a little bit, yea, verily, a little bit slow. Thanks, John, for that update. Over to SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133.
You passed me up. 133 checking in.
And 133 is checking in. Don't go away. Don't go away, John. I guess I'm anxious to get those tube radios checked in, and I'm going too fast. Dave, we hear you and got you checked in. Over.
QSL, thank you very much.
All right, good signal tonight. You must be on the 12 meter antenna. You're closer. You're closer to resonance. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Actually, the moon's just right in the path of my beam here. Maybe we're working EME. Over.
That could be. We've got the people up on the roof tonight with whatever they've got doing the uplink, and Dave is right, because we have such great air quality here because of the rain. And clear skies because the clouds out. It's you can actually see stars and constellations, and the moon, which is always bright, seems bright tonight. So we could be getting a little bit of moon bounce. So hopefully we'll get some good contacts. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
And let me rewind over to 131. Over.
Yeah, 131 checking in. Hey, Dennis, how does it sound to you over there? I've been messing with this antenna. I have antenna problems.
It sounds good. You're loud. You are just under S9 according to the meter here. You'll be able to hear your replay if you watch the video or go to the archive. So take another transmission.
Well, thank you. We're just checking it out here. Thought I burned this antenna up.
Well, if you are still where I think you're at, you're doing quite well, and the antenna is performing nicely. And I don't know if you have a way to check the SWR to make sure there's no coax issue or anything. I would say we're working great. You're as strong or stronger than you normally are.
Yeah, I'm down here, still in the same place.
Okay, sounding good. We got you checked in.
Okay, thanks, Dennis.
The Old Tube Radio Network, real radio's glowing in the dark coming up. Who's the breaking station? All right, no audio there. Let me continue over to SWL 135. And I will proxy in Mr. Green Arrow. Also proxy in 137. Up to Course Gold, the patient people indeed. Hello, 145.
Hi, good evening, Dennis. Hope you can hear me okay tonight.
I hear you just fine. At the beginning of the net, I was running around behind the racks, and you mentioned that there's, I guess, a Zoom meeting or something coming. If you've got that information, go ahead and give it again. Over.
Okay, yeah, Dennis, I didn't want to interrupt the show earlier, so I don't know how many people are going to get it, but yeah, the Mountain Amateur Radio Club will be having a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and the Zoom ID number is 876-905-74101, and the passcode is ERGS, Echo Romeo Golf Sierra, Early Risers Group. Okay, one and all, welcome to join us. We're having issues with the repeater up on Deadwood, and I think we'll be discussing options for that. Everyone is welcome, like I said. We'll look forward to seeing who can make it. Thank you, Dennis, for letting me post that.
All right, and that's the Mountain Amateur Radio Club?
Yeah, Mark's Mountain Amateur Radio Club. Roger.
Okay, good deal. Thanks for that. Let's go order up in Course Gold. Let's take a quick jaunt over into Kakalaki for SWL 147. And, you know, I did see, let me see if I can find the uplink here. I'm pretty sure I saw Neil. Yeah, 147 Kakalaki. Let's see, we are south of all the snow in the east, but rain on the way. A couple of good skip days, but not consistent. Yeah, we had sunspot numbers in the 20s and 30s, and yesterday, today, probably tomorrow, the sunspot numbers are down to 0, even though the A and K index are a lot better. Neil, we've got you checked in. And I think I know the problem with the video. I think it's on this end. So those of you who are looking for the net video, I will get that fixed. Give me a moment after we before we start the tube radios, and I'll get that fired up. I think I can do it, even if it is already going. So I think I know what the problem is. So Neil is looking good. Let's go back up to Course Gold, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis. Hope the antenna did it. We're still working.
Yeah, good signal. Audio is good. And if it's bent a little bit, it bent the right way. Over.
Half moon, maybe.
Yeah, well, it gets that horizontal and vertical component, and that works well for skip, too. Sounding good, and we've got you checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Over to SWL 226. I will get Jeff checked in because he checked into the Ditch Banks net on sideband. Let's see, anybody else before I run around here and try and get the video up and start the tube radios? Anybody that would like to check in, or I missed you? Over. Okay, I'm running behind. We've got a lot of things going on tonight, but it is a good kind of stuff going on. So I will be right back, and I think I'll get the video link reset up for the page, and we'll see what happens. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Stand by for those glow-in-the-dark radios. Over. Thanks, Richard. I think I can. The little engine that could. We'll see what happens. Okay, boys and girls, we should be back. The stream is up. If you refresh on the web, I think you will see the link to the video. I think. And we are going to be checking in some tube radios here on the old tube, or as I used to say, the old tired tube radio network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
And the reason they're applauding is because I think Net Control, after 35 years, is finally figuring out how to do this correctly. So give me another 35 years, and we may just have it down so there'll be no issues on the old Tube Radio Network. I will save the chatter. I will say we are ready for your radio check-ins, and the old Tube Radio Network is listening.
Number 7.
45.
25.
All right, here's how I have it. We've got 25. You will be radio number 3. Watch the cables. Head over into the green room. We will be with you. Radio, let's see, Paul, who's SWL 45. I mentioned you don't have to have numbers or any prior knowledge of the old Tube Radio Network to get in and check in a radio. Just say break OTR and we'll pick you up. Paul, you will be radio number 2. So we'll catch you in the green room. And stepping up into the air chair at the moment is SWL7, Mr. Ed, Hello Radio.
And 1963, the tram.
All right, bringing up the Rolodex for the tram, and we are heading back. Someone asked, who was probably watching for the first time, asked about the old Tube Radio Network. Here we go. It's 1963. I'm dressed like it's 1962 with the seersucker suit and the pocket protector, but the radio that we'll be bringing up here, the TR-27E from 1963, and Ed is going to give us some audio on that. So put on your 1963 hats. Here we go.
And yeah. Correct. But yeah, it's big, it's green, 5x7 speaker, a great big old S meter. It's about 3.5 by 3, and I have an Electro Voice 638 microphone attached.
So not only is the radio participating in some historic replay, the microphonium as well, one of those high-Z microphones that works well, not only on your tram radio, but on your Collins or your Drake, or whatever you want to put it on. The Tram TR-27E, top of the line for tram, probably an expensive radio for 1963, but you have to realize that it had everything. It had the S meter, all 23 channels, transmit and receive. You didn't have to go back to the electronic store and buy any crystals. It was all ready to go, and even they've got a crystal socket in the front there to help you out.
Yes, and a little modulation light that winks and blinks at you when you hit the voice peaks. Nice little radio. Well, actually not little, but yeah, I definitely like it.
And we do too. Do you remember how you acquired that radio? There are various ways. So it's like you have it from day one. You know, Uncle Joe leaves it to you when he's cleaning out the garage. You found it at a yard sale, eBay, a friend, acquaintance that says, well, I'm moving, and so I just wonder if you even remember where that came from.
Yes, I remember exactly where I got it from, actually. It was an eBay buy. I sent the seller email, and he got back. He was an old ham. He was like 90-some years old, and he said it was in real good condition. He tried it out. The only thing, he didn't have a mic for it. No problem. And he had a buy it now price on it, and I bought it for $135.
Sold. Yeah, and we're glad, because not only is it a great looking radio for the shack, but because of how we work the Old Tube Radio Network, we can kind of share it around here locally and, of course, through the Universal Media Netweb all over the place. So hopefully someone's got one of those Tram TR27E. This is the last of the 27 series from 1963. There was a C model. There might have been just a 27, but this was the final one, I think, before they went into the Tram Titan. So those of you who have the Tram Titan might notice the very large S-meter that's on your Titan. It originated right here on the radio on Ed, which is he's talking on from Tram, because it's a big radio, so it doesn't look out of place at all. So back to you for transmission on radio number 1 for the Old Tube Radio Network from the Tram Titan TR27E. Let me do this. I'm going to switch the picture over, and if anybody's got really good zoom-in capabilities, they will see the brochure that showed up in 1963 when you could buy this radio brand new. Back to you.
Thank you. Yep, big green radio. Yep. Well, with that, I'll go ahead and let you get to the next gentleman in line, and I'll have another radio for you very shortly. Oh, and by the way, that picture was of this very radio, so that way you can see exactly what I'm talking on.
The big green radio. We've got a monochrome picture, but it's green, teal. It is something. All right, what we got? And the satellites are beaconing here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Ed, for that. Stepping up in the air chair is Paul. I want to say hello to our new stations listening. Hello to San Francisco, San Bernardino, Springtown, Texas, stations in Fresno. Is it Blankenshire, Germantown, Wisconsin? Let me see what's going on in, what's the temperature at 5 in the morning at... Oh, it's Ohio. Okay, I thought it was somewhere else. It's 12:35. It's 32 degrees, and it's raining in Blancaster. So hopefully you are safe and warm near your tube radio. Hello, Paul, 45 OTR calling.
Hi, Jerry's been wanting to get in there. I don't know if he's still waiting or not.
Yeah, he's going to be right behind you as Radio 3. I see him. If I look through the racks here, he is having a great time over in the green room. So, in fact, we might not be able to get him to come up to the air chair, but we'll work on it.
No, Jerry, he is having a good time. He always does. Anyway, get back to the radios. I'll read this to you the way you're going to have to write it up, so it'll get in there. It's Marina Communications, Bunny TX-11B and RC-11B.
Okay, I will see if I can find it listed that way in the old-style Rolodex. Let's see, I've got something coming up here. Aha, you know what? You have done it again. I believe. Let me put up the shot. I think we have the item of interest. Over.
Yeah, good going. Tell you, you're hitting 100% now. Anyway, my buddy, as it says, the TX transmission is, of course, on the thing, and the RC is received. Jerry or Harvey helped me work on this thing. As a matter of fact, Harvey helped me get the radio, and we got it from a place in not Beckersville, it's somewhere up north, and they shipped it out, and they had dropped it apparently major high up. It was really in bad shape. And they broke a lot of brackets and everything in there, and it had capacitors laying all over the place. But Harvey got it going on that part. I repaired all the broken parts on the thing, and here it is. I really like it. It's a nice radio.
It's a nice-looking radio, and it sounds really good. Nice, clear audio, not overdone where it gets overmodulated and mushy, but really good. It's good fidelity all the way around. Bob Heil would say you've got the punch in the mid-range as well. The Buddy bass, the infamous Buddy bass, not a two-piece like the Browning, but a three-piece. They took the speaker and the on-the-air light and took it out of the cabinets and gave you a separate item. So there's the transmitter, is the smaller unit, the receiver, the larger unit with the slide rule dial. Audio is great. I noticed it's actually getting a little bit of a chirp, a little bit of, we'll reserve the word ping for Browning. So it's getting a little bit of a Buddy chirp over.
Yeah. It's got it. It's not a big one, but it's a little one, as I say. I kind of like it in there, but it's not a brownie. Anyway, this has VFO and 6-channel crystal control receive on the thing. 24 crystals, and it had a whole bunch of tubes in it, I'll tell you that. Quite a large, not a large radio, but a very unique radio. All is hand-wired in here. There is nothing not hand-wired. It's everything just like it should be. Great radio. It's got a string control receiver on the thing, which makes it even more of a classic. I'm really pleased with it, and I want to thank you for checking it in.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. I'm going to bring up the S meter again. I'll have you take one more transmission, so if you're watching the video, you'll be able to see where your signal reading is. But boy, it's way above the noise level. We're talking with Paul, our second radio of the evening, the Buddy Bass, the RC11B, TX11B, a favorite radio of the early modifier guys and gals who like to, pull out one of the tubes, beef up the audio with the 6L6 and do some other things. I think also that had some business band workings in it. You could crank up the power output to a little bit more than the 5-watt DC input. But it was a favorite screamer back in the day. It would go up against any Browning, any Tram, any Demco, the good old Buddy Bass. Back to you for transmission so we can see the signal strength, and thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, I'm looking forward to the archives big time. I've done quite a bit of work. I hope this thing sounds good. Anyway, it's got, like I said, it's got 18 tubes in the thing. It's really, and it's got a gigantic speaker on the top, which is on the air on it. Really good sounding, very nice radio. Hope I gave you enough time. Back to you.
Perfect. Sounding good for radio number 2. Thanks for that. So I'm going to give Jerry some time to walk up the steps here. I've got a couple things I forgot to do. One, at the beginning of the Tube Radio Network, I forgot to mention our sponsor, our new sponsor for 2021. One of them, because we just received a great shipment of these pens and pencils. Scotty's Service, AM, FM, CB, Paging and Communication Systems in Anderson, Indiana, East 6th Street at 642-2353. Anyway, here is Scotty's Service. Can you see that? I need to get a close-up cam. There it is. Scotty's Service, AM, FM, CB, Paging Communication Systems in Anderson, Indiana, up there on 6th Street. And Scotty and the gang, if you're watching, thanks for sponsoring the net tonight, and it fits. It's got one of those pens with an eraser that is about as hard as a piece of oak. So not only will that erase the ink off the paper, it will put a hole in the paper so you will never know what it is that you wrote. Let's see, any other things I need to talk? Oh, hello to our new stations coming in, and one would be listening in from South Korea. Korea's cool. Is watching the video. This is here in Central California, the old Tube Radio Network. The Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service started in around 1958. Sort of a way to add a personal communication service. It wasn't amateur radio, it wasn't technical, it wasn't supposed to be hobby, and it was a licensed class. You didn't need to take any tests for it, and it sort of immediately got out of hand. But what we do here is bring back some of the early radios, like classic cars. So radios from 1963, whatever, like the last radio. This one probably from 1964, 65, and put them on the air and give us that flavor that was citizen band radio back in the day. In the air chair now for Radio 3 is, hello, Jerry. It looks like you made it, and you brought the popcorn and the drinks and even a TV tray so you can sit in comfort. Over.
Oh, man, Dennis, I just might want to pass my turn here and go back to the green room because we're just having too much fun with the Jingle Singers. The champagne is flowing and the beer and pretzels. The beer, by the way, is ice cold. So, boy, it's hard to get up here and go to work. But anyway, thank you very much for the hospitality, and I'm sure the Jingle Singers are going to be in a great mood tonight. By the way, Paul, if you're listening, interesting little thing on your radio that you checked in on. there was a small chirp each time you keyed up. I don't know, Dennis, did you pick up on that?
Yeah, I wasn't going to call it a ping because that's sort of reserved for the Browning. So it was, I think you pegged it. It was sort of the buddy chirp over.
Yeah, definitely, and a little chirp, which is very cool. So anyway, Paul, good to hear from you. Let me check this thing in. This big old boat anchor here, two-piece radio, Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, sidebander. Boy, I know you know this radio. I'm talking on a non-powered banana mic. And, boy, the red on the air light is on, and it does have a spot button. That way you can calibrate the transmit to the receive. And 23 channels, and everything seems, hopefully everything is working on your end, Dennis. Anyway, back to you.
Everything is working great here. You are sounding good. We have a representative photo of the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, not the one you were on, but very similar. It's also showing the Golden Eagle Microphonium. I think you might have yours set side to side. These are stacked one on top of the other, but unlike the Buddy Bass, this is a two-piece radio, and it definitely has the ping over.
Roger. I know you know this radio very well. One other point I was thinking about, the spot button. I talked about the spot button. Boy, that's about it. I'm sorry, I'm distracted with all the fun I was having in the green room down there with the jingle singers. But anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, well, I know once you're done, you'll run back down there. In fact, you might have a little more room. It looks like our satellite pass is getting close here. I don't have an exact time, but I'll have to bring that up to see if we can't get yet another radio. This will be our first radio check-in. I'm not sure if it's going to happen and what kind of radio, but it'll be our first radio check-in remotely on the uplink, downlink. So this should be cool. So stay tuned for that. The Browning Golden Eagle, for those who may not be familiar, this was their Mark III version, a very popular version. This went for 4 years, from 1972 to 1976, and they probably could have kept up with it with maybe a few modifications here and there, but as you know, in 1976, the FCC allowed the 40-channel radios to be type accepted, and so just about any transmitter or transceiver or receiver with 23 channels was immediately obsolete. So Browning had to get in and make the Mark IV. But this radio had a good 4-year run. The price was typically from $650 to about $800, and that was in $70. So today you would probably have to trade in your Pontiac to get one of these things over.
I don't know. A Pontiac might be worth more nowadays. But anyway, Dennis, thanks for doing this 35 years. Kudos to you, and we'll be standing by, and thanks for checking in the old standby Browning.
Hey, thanks for bringing it by. The reason that we have been here 35 years is because we have a great group of local radio operators who on Saturday evenings, when they should be doing something else or are doing something else, jump into the radio room and spend a little time with us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And it takes a little work to fire up these radios. It's just like an old car. You've got to occasionally pull the top out and wiggle the tubes and check the coax and all that. So there's a lot of work that that's involved with that. So we will check that. And Paul V says, I'll trade you a Pontiac for that Eagle. Depending on which Pontiac. Maybe a Buick. Who knows? The Old Tube Radio Network, the Jingle Singers do we have enough? Where are they? Okay, we have enough of the Jingle Singers. Again, I'm going to check the time for the satellite uplink. We might have to do a couple of passes or a couple of checks, but I know I have a minimal time for that. So let's go to the Jingle Singers while I figure out what it is we're supposed to be doing here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest nation for you by far.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and hopefully you and you, the Old Tube Radio Network here on a Saturday evening. I am going to, just because I can, it is up, I'm going to see if we've got the audio link ready on the satellite. I may not even have the receiver. This may not work. Oh, okay. So I'm receiving something. So, you know, I'm going to leave that up in the background. Maybe a little too loud. Because I don't exactly, this is our first time doing this. Not sure how it works. So, I don't know how this is working. 23, if you're listening on the stream, and you have the link, or you're actually seeing the bird here, go ahead. What we're trying to do is talk to Mitch. He's SWL23, and he is not local. He's over on the coast of California, and we're up listening to a receiver, and he's going to be transmitting his radio into that receiver that we're going to hear. So you're actually going to be hearing the output of the radio, which is a legitimate contact here. So I'm just listening to see if we have the uplink yet. I'm tuning into 27085. I can set the bandwidth. Let's go to like 7500. And OTR is listening. If not, we'll take another check-in, but I don't want to miss the window opportunity here. Looks like I do have everything set correctly. Hearing the audio. Come in, 20.
Hello, OTR. This is 23 Skidoo, transmitting via TubeStar 1, the only orbiting 27 megahertz repeater. Over.
All right, I hear you. I hear you if you can hear me. I'm not sure exactly how the audio comes through. I see you on the scope. It looks really good. In fact, I might be able to widen the bandwidth up a little bit. Back to you. I'll keep my transmissions short. Tell me what it is you are transmitting on. You will be radio number 4, and it's sounding great. We have a great link right now. Over. Man, I hope we didn't lose him.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. I'd like to check in my glow-in-the-dark first-generation Tram D201. Over.
All right, copy. The Tram D201. I noticed you didn't say D201A, so first generation should be the D201. I think those had the Vox. You will confirm that for us. And I don't know if you've had the top off yet to look, but that should be the hand-wired version, the very coveted D201 from Tram, and hopefully it doesn't have any issues with channel selectors or burnt resistors or whatever. Back to you on the satellite link. I'm still seeing good signal strength, so maybe we can get another couple go-arounds. Over.
Okay, Dennis, no problem on the copy. The bird is working, and you're correct. The D201 is actually the very last of the tube radios that Tram designed and sold, and the first version of it was built actually in New Hampshire, totally hand-wired point-to-point. It does have the Vox keyer, and it's actually got separate transmit and receive audio tone controls, as well as a 23-channel synthesizer and a manual receive VFO, along with a whole bunch of other things that you would expect to get for a whopping price of $795. Over.
All right, let me get the link. Boy, this has the receiver here, the downlink has a waterfall display, and you are showing up at like 8K to 10K wide on the audio, and it's really sounding good. I just realized I put on my picture here, and I was looking at the S meter, but you're not coming through the radio, so the S meter isn't going to show. You're coming through, and I don't have a link up to show the receiver on that. Great audio. You've done a good job. There is no distortion whatsoever. Looks like you're on frequency. I don't know if I can do any sideband with this link. I'm not going to try any fancy stuff before I lose you. This is the first time in 35 years that I believe we had skip check-ins over the air. This is the first time we've had a link up with one of our listeners who's been listening in. Mitch has been listening for quite a while digitally, but he's sitting in his QTH. You might, when you come back, give us your location again so people can know what's going on here. And we're getting the uplink of his radio on a receiver, so we're actually hearing the output of his radio through the receiver, and I'm downlinking that here on the audio. So over to you for still patched in on the pass. This is the old Tube Radio Network, over, and I'll get a shot of the D201 if I've got one. Uh-oh, I hope we didn't. We may have lost him. I'm not seeing any. Hopefully get one more go.
Okay, very good, Dennis. And for those that are interested, the QTH here is in Aptos, California, which is about 10 miles south of Santa Cruz, and just a few hundred feet from the Pacific Ocean. Roger?
Hey, well, you don't have to worry about the Pacific Ocean like the guys in Minigrass. They have to actually drive their mobiles out into the Pacific Ocean. All right, this is not a very good picture, but there's the radio that Mitch is talking about. It's supposedly a Tram D201. I don't know, from the picture's not very good, how you would be able to tell from the front. It looks to me like a lot like the 201A. Obviously, there must be a badge or a banner on the speaker that doesn't have the A. And we got the picture up here. Where is the Vox control? What knob? We're seeing the channel selectors. Where do you turn on or off the Vox on the 201? And I hope we are still within the window here. Over, OTR listening. Well, did we push the limit?
Okay, Dennis, so the Vox control and the Vox delay control share the same knob, so it's a dual control, and it's immediately to the right of the microphone jack, which is on the left side of the radio.
Okay, copy that, and we can see the controls there. We're learning how to work this receiver thing here. We can see the controls there. It works well. All right, we probably only have one more transmission left. So I will go back to you. How much have you had to do, if any, to that radio? And from what I'm hearing, if you haven't done anything, you don't need to do any more. It's really working well, at least through the receiver here. It looks good on the scope. Nice audio and good job. So maybe we will hear it on some short E-skip backscatter. Back to you, and I will let's make this the last transmission if you're even there, because according to this, we have like 30 seconds left in the window. This is the old Tube Radio Network, and beaconing back to the coast of California. Thanks, Mitch, for doing this for us. Over.
Okay, Dennis, well, thanks for all the work from the cable crew to get things in place, and we'll try to make it quick. Haven't really done much to this radio, just picked it up about a week ago, cleaned it up, put it on the air, and just getting ready to start to get into some replacement of some capacitors. With that, 73 to you, and all the best to the OTR SWLs, and we'll catch you another time. 23 Skidoo, we're out of here.
All right, if you are still able to copy me, thanks so much. I'm not sure. You may be, I think what Mitch is doing is he's listening on that's why part of our delay, not the uplink, but he's probably listening on the stream, since obviously I'm not on any satellite. So he's probably listening on the stream, waiting for my cue, and then transmitting his radio. Thanks to, yeah, you guys can come down, set their stuff up, let them know they can come off the roof. And I don't see anything. The display is just there, so let me bring that down totally. And I'm going to give my transmitter a rest here. This is the old Tube Radio Network. First, an uplink. That was the actual Tram D201, not the A, the original version. We were hearing the transmitter coming up on the receiver coming up, and then back down here into the old Tube Radio Network for radio number 4, the D201. And I'm going to take about a 30-second to 1-minute break on the transmitter here, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Mitch. If you can hear me, that worked. Thanks to the crew and everybody who came in early to set stuff up. Hopefully we can do that again. Maybe there will be some other stations that we can do that with across the country to get... we do anything. We will do anything here. It's like that guy that used to stand on his head to make you a deal, the car dealer. We will do anything to get a radio check in here at the old Tube Radio Network. Back in 1 minute. All right, the old Tube Radio Network is back. We are listening for Radio 5. Don't see everybody's off the roof, and we're looking good. That was just a large crackle. So try it again.
Well, maybe. It's working.
Okay, it's 7 and maybe on the Robin. It's got audio. I'm going to take a breath here. I think it's excited that we've had our first long-distance uplink, downlink check-in or whatever. Maybe other strange things will happen tonight. Give a squeeze on the Robin.
Well, it's still making little funny things, but it's working, kind of, sort of. Yes, it is the Robin T 123 nice screen radio with the winking and blinking eyes is telling me that before it was making some kind of weird noises.
It's anxious to have a flight and be on the air. I see Chrissy saying, Dwayne saying, Chrissy was disappointed that the tram wasn't green. All right, Chrissy, this is for you. We've got a green radio. Take a transmission over.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm going to slap this thing around a little bit and see if I can't clean some contacts and other stuff to make sure that it works like it's supposed to.
Well, it's 99% there. What was the thing? 99 and 44 100%. There's audio, there's carrier RF, and it's beaconing into the old Tube Radio Network, the Robin T123. They're pre-1972, 11 tube, 2 transistor CB radio that can go 12 volts. You can find more about it in Sam's CB35, page 95, or you can just listen right here and hear the thing live. Go ahead.
Here's crunching again. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and get another radio on.
Okay, we'll get you down for, I've got my numbering, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are Radio 5 on the item there, so thanks for that. There was, I'm talking about some comments here. There was Cal Worthington and his dog Spot, who often looked like a rhinoceros, and I grew up in Southern California, so I'm very familiar with Cal Worthington and all those places. And then there was a guy here in Fresno that was a mobile home dealer who would stand on his head to make you a deal. Also, Johnny Defiant, you win the prize. It is Cal Worthington. Is Johnny Defiant. Wonder if you are a Southern California guy. Actually, Cal Worthington probably had a lot of dealerships up and down the state. All right, OTR standing by, listening for radio number 6.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, please.
Oh boy, I was not going to do this. I was actually in bed, but I ran back out into the radio lounge just because of the, well, hopefully it was the previous radio that was checked in. I'm going to do another Robin, if that's okay with you.
That is okay with me, and no doubt to the SWLs wherever they may be. Over, over.
Okay, well, goodness sakes, I'm going to forego all the questions I've got in the back of my mind regarding the check-in from the coastal compound up there. But I'm going to do a Robin T123 really quick, because it's actually pretty cold out here in the radio lounge. I've got the amplified astatic mic on there, D104. Which I guess, well, it's definitely making the Magic Eye pretty active right now. And unlike my other Robin, which, just has a regular stock unamplified mic, this one, I think it works great. I'm sorry I'm not using it on the road, but warm weather is coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's unless you were going to take it down to Australia. I hear it's summer down there. Radio number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got a list that's numbered incorrectly, so I'm numbering as I go. No, you're number 6 on the Robin T123, which is a good choice because I already had that picture queued up. Over.
Well, let's see how fast you are. You got a 123 Bravo in the library as well?
Knowing what you do, I should have had it in the queue, just like you had the radio in the queue, and then I would have been able to, as soon as you keyed up, do what I'm going to do now and swap the picture to the even larger green radio. Take a transmission. Over.
Okay. Well, I wish this one would be, well, I have a hard time saying I wish it'd be a little bit warmer right now because this is the hottest radio I've got in the collection. It hurts. If you leave this sucker on for any length of time, you're going to have a difficult time putting your hand on top of it. And I know this has come up numerous times, but this radio I'm on right now, the Robin 123B, is in Bravo, is definitely a warm radio. I think you said it was a Panasonic chassis, is that right?
You are correct, the Panasonic chassis. And one of the manufacturers that got to use most of the bells and whistles therein. So you can't go wrong with that good, I think it was even plate modulated, I'm not sure.
Well, that makes two of us that aren't quite sure, but there it is. I keep on forgetting that this probably sounds a little clearer the more I kind of, it feels like screaming to me. I always forget if I'm standing up in the lounge here and I'm the modulation lamp that's on the front of the radio is off, and I can barely even see that sucker. I'm sure with the range expansion. It's basically, I wouldn't even be able to see it lit up at all. But out of my collection, I'd say it's probably tied for, I don't know, first, second place as far as the neatest looking radio. I don't think I've got any scratches on this kind. It's always fun having a radio that looks pretty close to pristine, but the audio might not be quite pristine, but it's still pretty fun to use. And yes, as I'm putting my hand over the radio right now, it's warm, thank God.
All right, well, hopefully you've got the aluminum, the heavy-duty aluminum foil with whatever your midnight snack is going to be. basting, roasting up on the top, and it should be ready in at least a little bit after the net. Radio number 7, the Robin T123 Bravo. The pre-1972 radio was the Robin 123 from 1972 to 1976. Another casualty. This chassis was another casualty of the 40-channel FCC mandate, but they kind of stepped up like Browning did and just made a 40-channel version. It wasn't too hard to put in the extra synthesized crystals or the VC, PLL chips or whatever they did. 11 tubes, 12AX7 in the audio where it sounds so good, and I'm looking if it's got the dual 6BQ5s or 6BA6. Doesn't look like it does, but it's still good. 11 tubes, 2 transistors. There is an operator's manual and a schematic if you go online to oldtuberadio.com. And 5 watts of power never sounded so good. Thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure. And, it's amazing you knew that, that comment you made about the aluminum foil. Yeah, I do have a sheet of aluminum foil across the top of this radio. Well, it's been a couple hours now, but we're trying to do some beer-battered coconut shrimp on the top of the radio. And, I think it's just about ready. So that will be perfect for after the jingle singers do their final segment for tonight's show. We'll have some appetizers over here to celebrate another great evening of glorious vacuum tube radios.
Indeed, on the Old Tube Radio Network, brought to you by our, the glorious radio operators that have these radios. And I wish that we could link up like we did earlier for a lot of our listeners who are out here who have collections that we don't get to hear, but they let us know what they have. The Old Tube Radio Network, hopefully they're doing something like that around. The jingle singers are all out. I don't even know if I'm going to get any more jingle tonight after running up and down the roof, but we'll get them to at least give us one more. And there's a lot of nice stuff happening in the green room tonight. Let's see. The hotter the radio gets, the harder the griddle gets, the quicker you fry your meal. So I'll let you take a long transmission there, so you won't have to wait so long to get your midnight snack. Thanks for bringing by Radio 7.
My pleasure. Thank you, sir. 73.
45. 60.
All right, we've got my transmitter. Yeah, we've got 2 more. 45, Paul, 00. Step up into the air chair. You'll be radio number 8. And Joe, you'll be radio number 9. So we'll catch you in just a few. Hello, Paul, over.
Well, I'm changing the radios around. This is a newer one than the last one. It's a realistic TRC-8X23. I'll give it to you. Better, but Tango Romeo Charlie X-Ray 23 Alpha.
And it says realistic. I don't even know realistic made tube radios. My first big radio was the realistic Navajo TR-23, the one that didn't have the delta tone. It was their first one. So I'm looking through the Rolodex. Tango Romeo Charlie X-Ray 23 is what I believe you said. I'm going to bring up, well, this definitely looks like an old tube radio. I'm going to bring up a picture here. Let me get the extra, and maybe that is what you've got. That looks pretty cool. I think I wish I would have bought that instead. Over.
Yeah, they're a neat radio. I'll tell you, they really made them pretty. It's made in Japan, so that's one of the good reasons why the thing's still running. I guarantee you, as you know that for sure. Yeah, it's the normal controls on the thing. Got a modulation 23-channel crystal controls. And it's manufactured in 1967. 10-tuber, very nice, pretty radio, buffed aluminum. Rest of the radio is polished aluminum, really sharp radio. And I think this has got all copper chassis on it too. Beautiful radio. Back to you.
Yeah, very nice radio. I'm not sure who the picture is courtesy of. Let me zoom in a little bit. So import from Japan, although I'm looking under the realistic logo. It almost looks like it says made in USA. Maybe the cabinet, I'm not sure. Crystal controlled, of course. I wonder if that is a Panasonic or a Toshiba chassis or a Cobra or a Cam in some of their clothing. It's hard to tell. I can't tell by the layout. Sure has nice audio. It is good and clear, nice audio. PACB switch. I see the modulation light, and this is, of course, 23 channel, and it's got the band split, so you've got the receive VFO. Take another transmission. This is really a nice sounding radio. Over.
Okay, well, the ICO radios, they run just about like this one. I hope to be checking in later. If not, it'll be next week. But they're similar radio, high quality radio. Back to you.
Okay, you said it's similar, perhaps, to an ICO, EICO. Over.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Did you say it was similar to an ICO? Over.
Well, I'm still not getting you. I got a bad noise level up here, but other than that, try again, please.
Okay, well, we were thinking it might be similar to some other radio like a Cam or an ICO or something, but it says realistic, it's working good, so that'll be good enough for us. Over.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate all that, too. Yeah, this radio is made in Japan. I hope I'm doing the right thing now. It's a 10 tuber, like I said. Very clean radio. Very pretty. Got lights on the front flashing right now. Back to you.
Looks good. 10 tubes and no weighting. The realistic TRCX23. So probably one of their, if final. I didn't even know they had tube radios with realistic. I know there was Allied and Radio Shack. So 67, 68. So this is before their first solid state stuff. I think I bought my Navajo in 1970. So 69, 70 is when they were coming out with the Mini 6s and the Mini 23s and their first radio. So this was their last tube hurrah. I'm glad you brought it by. It looks like sounds like it's in great shape and doing a good job on the old tube radio network for radio number 8. Thank you. Over.
Thank you for checking it in.
I would, like I said, I'm almost sorry I didn't find one of those to start off with. Radio number 9 is stepping up now. And Joe, who has been on the airways. Hello, 60.
Hello, doggone it, Dennis. Yeah, I think we got this whole radio nice and hot. This is a 10 tube, my Johnson Messenger, a 223, and I just got the thermometer off it a while ago, and she was reading pretty good. It sounds like, it seems like, yeah, it's ready for the steak if you want to lay a steak on it. But anyway, this is my Johnson Messenger. We'll make it quick there on a stock microphone.
Sounds good. I think everybody's going to have a midnight snack tonight that's checking in tube radios. There are some advantages to checking in, to warming up early here. You can have your cake and eat it too, or whatever it is that you're doing. That was the radio feature tonight, JT, over on the old radio night. You can't go wrong with a Messenger 223. Give us another transmission.
We thank you much, Dennis. Doggone it, I'm really pleased with it. It's a very friendly radio, and it's got such a nice big speaker. I've been listening to all the fellas. A nice, well-lit radio in the front. Really easy to work. I mean, you know, it's got the volume, and it has the squelch. Of course, the squelch is what turns it on and off. And other than that, she's been doing a pretty good job, Dennis.
Yeah, E.F. Johnson knew how to make radios. They're making amateur stuff for a long time, the boat anchors. They're making business band radios. So, you know, give me a radio with a nice chrome bezel that won't get dinged up. Give me some knobs you can grab that you don't have to search for and find stuff, and a nice big illuminated front panel S-meter. And since this is citizen band radio, you'll be good to go. The Messenger 223 was, of course, the big brother to the Messenger 2 and the Viking Messenger. Messenger 2, they put it in the cabinet, added 23 channels. They had a good thing started from 1959 with the Messenger, so a few improvements here and there, and make it competitive with all the other 23-channel radios, and it's a good thing. Another transmission, and how long have you been? That's what I was going to ask you before you go. How long? Maybe you don't want to say. You know, a lot of us, we start thinking about it, and it's like, that's a long time. How long have you been modulating on the CB radio? Over.
Oh man, yeah, you might as well. I can write a book on it. Let's put it that way. good God, I guess early 60s. Early 60s. My son was born in 71. In doggone it, I think we started on some little old Allied, probably a little box radio, just a little on and off switch with a 3-element beam. Yeah, we've been on the radio there for quite a few years.
All right, like a lot of us, some of us are new. I hope there are some new people, even if you're not a radio person and you're tuning through, listening to the audio or watching the video, or maybe locally SWLing, and enjoying the history, the history channel that is Old Tube Radio Network, and know that, you know, CB is still up and running. You can't buy any radios like this anymore, like an old car. So you have to come to the show. And our radio operators put on a great show. Thanks for bringing by radio number 9.
Thank you. That was a good question. It brought back some memories when I was on that little, I called it a half a loaf of bread. Nice little radio, though. Shot a lot of skip on it, surprisingly. Okay, Dennis, thank you, and I'll get ready to check it in another one.
All right, the Loaf of Bread Radio. Speaking of history, let me do something. I went back to the archives. Let me see if they got it queued up. Went back to the archives here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We have been, like I said, we've been on for 35 years. We haven't been streaming or videoing for that long, but let me go back to, do I have my list here? I think we're going to go back to we're going to go back to 2011. And we're going to go back to August 20th. I'm looking to see if we have this. Yeah, here it is. Let me see if we can do the replay. This is from almost 10 years ago, and one of our history-making transmissions. Here we go.
Borrego TR. And the Borrego TR, please proceed.
Thank you, Dennis. This is 56 on a Browning 2327 combination.
Phil, 56 at the microphone here at 8:59.
Yes, it's just a few weeks old for me. Enjoy the radio. It sounds very good. I hope it sounds good in your ears.
Oh yeah, sounding very good. Radio number 9.
This is an amplified D104.
Okay, you've got it set well, but I'm wondering if you have an on-the-air light when you key down on the S23.
Oh yes, it's a bright red on the air. Yes.
At the top of the hour, tell us what's going on here. But in the meantime, let's hear the Browning R27S 23 one more time.
Well, thank you, Dennis, and let those Browning singers amass themselves, and not only amass themselves, but present themselves. Thank you, Dennis. Back to OTR.
Right, you can hear Skipland coming in there from August 20th of 2011. Phil on his what appeared to be a new acquisition, R27 S23. OTR standing by.
Number 7.
All right, we've got Ed, and who was the other station? Over.
25.
And 25. All right, actually, Jerry, I heard you first. Ed will be right with you. Go ahead, Jerry. Over.
Real quickly, Dennis, been an interesting evening. Checking in on the, from downtown, beautiful Burbank, California, the MC5 General Radio Telephone. Back to you.
All right, we'll make it a quick check-in, but you know there are fans across the Universal Media NetWeb that are going to be asking you, nay, even requesting that the Q-Bird might fly out today. We won't do it right now, but the MC5, I'm looking through the Rolodex here. I should have a picture of the MC5. Yeah, let me take another transmission. We'll put up a picture here. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, this radio's been a work in progress. Hopefully the audio sounds good. The perceive is a little bit weak, but I'm sure we can fix that. But anyway, hopefully it's on frequency and sounding okay on your end. Back to you, Dennis.
It's sounding good. You're correct. The audio's a little weak, maybe 60 or 70% modulated. Almost sounds like a mismatched Missing Pete's microphone because you don't have a lot of low frequencies. But I hear you. We're communicating. And the way to make that radio really modulate at 100% is to insert the Q-Bird tone. So there is a way to do that. Let me go to the close-up so anyone knows what we're talking about. We're looking at the front of the radio, and if you were sitting in front of the radio, you've got the receive VFO off to your left. You got the speaker off to your right. You've got the transmit selecting your crystals down below that, and in the center is a nice large S meter. Below that is something called a tone signal, which is a switch. I don't know if it's a spring switch or a lock-to-talk switch, but Jerry is going to engage that tone signal. This is the last radio that General Radio Telephone made that the FCC allowed them to have the tone signal inside. So it's a bit of history and a bit of nostalgia as we'll listen to the tone signal, sometimes called a Q-Bird. Back to you, over.
Yeah, okay, Dennis, one last thing. Right below the tone signal is an external crystal jack. So mark X, so if you wanted to go to your secret frequency, you can do that. In any case, here we go with a tone signal. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, perfect. And I think it modulated the radio as much as it could. So I'm thinking you might have a weak tube somewhere in the audio. That it's not a microphone thing, that your microphone is good, but the audio that the radio has is being maxed out just from the level of the tone. Sounded good. Q-Bird fans all over are walking away from their sets right now, and they're satisfied. There's no more reason to listen to the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for bringing by radio number 10. Over.
Thank you, Dennis, and back to you.
All right, and we are going to Radio 11. Thanks for standing by, Ed, and over to you.
No problem. This time, a Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB with the Golden Eagle D104 attached.
And that is that's the Mark III, right? You told me, and I was looking. I had a distraction.
Yes, this is the Mark III SSB.
All right, because you said the Golden Eagle radio was that. So I actually have a good shot of that with the Golden Eagle and with the Golden Eagle. So here's 3 Golden Eagles. Over to you.
There you go. Yeah, nice big 2-piece radio. Oh, man, this one has a great receive in it. It's comparable to even the ham radios that I have. So, yeah, can't say enough about the Brownings.
Can't say enough, can't say too much. Our 11th radio, the Mark III SSB, doing its thing from 1972 to 1976. Thanks for bringing it by.
And thank you.
And I must say it has an interesting, picking up an interesting noise in the background that I didn't hear on the other radios.
This one?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's some noise that I don't hear on the other radios, like it's something in the background.
I'm not sure what that could be.
Oh, okay. Now that I heard it, it sounds like it might be picking up if you have a receiver or something, some white noise, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what it is. That probably got rid of it.
That got rid of it. That shows you how sensitive that microphonium is.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That was, yeah. Okay, well, I'll know. I can't have anything around that'll hear it.
Well, I remember, who was it? 8, SWA Everett. And I don't know how, I think it's the same thing. It was just a D104 microphone on the Browning. And there was no way to adjust anything. And he had so much room echo, and I bet Jerry remembers this, that he literally had to wrap himself in a blanket or wrap him like in the curtains in the room to shelter himself from the vibrations in the room, and it actually worked. It made it so much easier to copy without the room echo.
Yeah, I do remember that actually. Yes, good old Everett. Spent a few days over there drinking beer and talking radio stuff.
Is there any way to run an airline? Okay, what else? We're going late, but I started late, and we did some interesting things. I got one more. Do I have another archive? I'm looking to see if we got another satellite pass. I don't have a thing on that, but we have another history archive. Let me see what that is. All right, this is from January 28th. Okay, for 2012. This is like almost 8 years ago. Let's see what comes up on this one here on the Old Tube Radio Network History Archives.
135.
Cliff, go ahead. Tell us the item of interest.
Okay, well, first of all, let's see. Hold on. Is it working? I kind of threw this one together. Larry gave me a radio check. I think I got the mic turned where it ought to be. How's it working?
Mic is definitely where it ought to be. The radio is working everywhere. Go ahead.
Okay, now let's see if this works. So far. Well, it didn't work as well as I thought it would. Yes, that was the Fannin Fanfare. And this, of course, the radio I'm talking on is the Fannin Fanfare X-Ray Mic 2300, the Fannin Fanfare XM2300. It is completely green, and you will find a picture of it on the Old Tube Radio Facebook page. It's a green radio with a bullet hole style speaker. That's like rounded quarter-inch bullet holes for letting the sound through the speaker. Meter in the upper left. Looks very much like a Courier except in green. Yes, the S meter too glows in the dark, as does the green channel 11. The channel numbers are, at least here at 11, are in green. I have to click around. I'm not sure if I think they turned to white somewhere else on the dial, but here at 11, it's a nice, cool, glowing green. This is one of the greener radios in the collection. And I'm on a Gray Base D104.
Yeah, it works really well. Nice audio.
We'll definitely be checking this one in March when I start checking in all the green radios.
All right, Cliff, thank you. Radio number 8, the Fannin Fanfare M2300.
And then I go fading off into the distance. That was Phil, SWO35, on his Fannin Fanfare from January 28th, 2012. So Christy, where are you? The green radios have been happening for a long time. And so now you know there's another one out there that you can hope shows up on the air. OTR standing by.
60.
All right, I think, let's see, was it 45? How about to 60?
45.
Okay, there's 45. All right, Paul, let me pick you up, and then Joe will pick you up next. Paul, you are step up. You will be radio number 12. Go ahead, over.
Okay, another one trying to get in there.
Yeah, we've got them coming up next. Over. Yeah, they'll be coming up next. Go ahead, Paul. Over.
Just knocking me out completely. I don't know what it is, but it is. Comes and goes.
All right, let's see. I will reposition myself in the chair. Can you hear me now, Paul? Over. Okay, what we'll do is we'll take a little chatter here, and Paul will be able to tune us in. So we'll be right back with you, Paul. Hello, Joe, 60. Let's put you in as radio 12. Over.
Thank you, Dennis. Doggone it, we're going to key up here our green radio, our Robin 123B with a D104 desk mic. Howard.
I like the way you've got that set up. Nice and easy on the ears. I should keep the Rolodex set to R tonight, because it seems like the Robins are wanting to be the most heard radio. If I bring up a 123B, I've done it right. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess you have. And temperature-wise, I've noticed, maybe because of the lower profile on this Robin, it runs a little cooler, believe it or not, than the Johnson Messenger. Johnson Messenger runs a little hotter. Of course, it has, I don't know what the deal is on that, but just being that it's low profile, the Robin, it seemed to me to be the hotter radio, but it turns out to be the cooler one.
and cool is relative. I'm reading a comment by one of our SWLs. It's Paul V. It says, it's sad that he's 43 and this is his Saturday night social life. I'm thinking, we've been doing this 35 years. So thanks for joining us, Paul. You're in good company. This one is tuned to channel 14. Of course, you're on channel 11. It is, and I know you'll agree with me. This is just a cool-looking radio. Over.
Oh, yeah, it's a lovely radio. In fact, it's almost as friendly as my Messenger. But doggone it, the old light is blinking away. And a minute ago, it was blinking away with whatever you were doing on, or I don't know what it was, but it was even picking it up. But I can't say it's sensitive because it doesn't get any brighter with me talking on it. And the text light is on. I just love it. Like I say, it runs probably a little cooler than the other one. I don't know why. Maybe because you're like let's put it this way: your hand gets, the closer you get to the sun, of course, it's going to get hotter, and the further away from it, it'll be a little cooler. But anyway, thank you for letting me check in this Robin 123B.
Hey, we are pleased to put it down as Radio 12 tonight. It sounds good. And it is a fan, it is quickly becoming an SWL fan favorite. Thanks for bringing it by. Okay, the break OTR standby one. Hello, Paul 45, are you still listening? Over. Okay, he might still be working on his radio. Who is the breaking station that was standing by? OTR is listening.
SWL 17, I get a check-in tonight.
You can get a check-in. I hear you beaconing somewhere into my radio station. Over.
Thank you.
All right, SWL 17. Let me go to the SWL list. It's been neglected. We'll put a check right there, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he was on. He might have been on the portable unit, but it was good enough to make it through. Talking about Saturday Night Highlights. What was it, a month or so ago, OBP put up that picture from the early days of OTR, and I'm sitting there, I guess I was net controlling that night, and I realized I was probably 29 or 30 years old in that picture. So yeah, it's certainly gotten out of hand. Any other stations would like to check in before we do counting and amounting and all those good stuff? OTR standing by. All right, the Jingle Singers look like we have a quorum. Do we? Okay. Someone's giving me the thumbs up. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
And I'm beginning to think there may be nobody older than the Jingle Singers. We're going to be counting and amounting, standing by and listening. And the noise level always quiets down, which is an okay thing. I've been neglecting it has been busy here, and I've been neglecting my other screens. So I'm going to refresh the comments, make sure there's nothing that we need to address on the other comment screen. Thanks for all of you who are out there listening. Needlebender 2811 saying good evening, everyone. Hello to the Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. Channel 11 is the RF zone. It looks like Richard is ordering. He's ordering from the green room tonight. Maybe we should do that. Have a takeout. All right, are we ready? Where are they? Everybody's having a good time. I need the Mr. Announcer. Yeah, okay, there they go. And the fanfare, like the fanfare radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
Yeah, I was going to see if we have another pass. We'll try that again. If it works, we might be able to get a tram every week up on the satellite. Thanks to Mitch 23 for hooking that up. And if it's something we can do, then we might try that a few times because the radio looks great and it's an official check-in. We are actually listening. When we do that, we're actually listening to the radio. So I do not have a problem with that. I wish there was more ways to do that. Checking in tonight. How many SWLs did we have? We had just 12 on page 1, 20 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and 23 on page 4. So that's a total of 71. We're doing good here in 2021. 12 radios tonight that showed up, including the uplink, and I didn't count the ones from the History Channel because those already got counted years ago. Most heard manufacturer, you know, it is the Robins tonight with 4. Started off with the Tram TR 2070. I thought maybe with the Trams, with the addition of Mitch's radio, might do okay tonight. They were, I think, tied for second place. Tram TR 27E, Mr. Ed. Radio number 2 was Paul on the Buddy bass, RC11B, TX11B. Don't hear enough of those buddies. Where are the Demcos? Where are the Pierce Simpsons? Where are those radios? Where are the Siltronics? We haven't heard any of those in a while. Radio number 3 was the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. That was from Jerry. On the uplink, Mitch from Aptos, over on the coast, the Tram D201 with a whopping like 8K of good-looking and good-sounding audio on the Tram. The early Tram without the circuit boards, all of those D201s sort of had issues, if it was a channel selector or just overheating on the components, but boy, that one sounded like it was perfectly good. Maybe we'll have to make him run the box. I'm getting a boom shadow here. Thanks, Mitch, for Radio 4. Radio 5, Mr. Ed on the Robin T123, followed by SWL 47 Mike on the Robin T123, quickly followed by his T123B for Radio 7, Radio 8. Paul was on the Realistic TRCX23. I know Paul had another radio tonight, so Paul, if you're listening, we'll pick it up next week when there's no wacky things going on. Radio number 9, Joe on the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, a radio featured on JT's Old Radio Night, which you can find online if you're into the E.F. Johnsons. Look up, what is it, Dirty Diaper 21, I think is what it shows up as Old Radio Night. Radio number 9, Joe also on his, no, we did that, E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, Radio 10, Jerry on the General Radio Telephone MC5. Thanks, Jerry. The Q-Bird, I was getting some mail about where are the Q-Birds? You know, fan mail is good, but the mail that says where the heck is this and where the heck is that? Thanks for helping me out. Radio 11 was Ed on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, and to make sure the Robins flew Hi tonight, the Robin T123B from Mr. Hustler out there in Clovistown. Thanks, everybody, the Old Tube Radio Network. Archives are up. Hopefully you can do something like this where you are at. Who's also listening? Hello to San Bernardino, still in there. Wisconsin. Squamish is staying up late with us tonight. Blackpool. What's going on in Blackpool? Let me see what the temperature is in... it doesn't give me the temperature. It's giving me all sorts of things about the golf club and the Salad Bowl in Queenstown and Cleveleys. So if you're in out of the Blackpool Tower, have a good evening. What was it Jethro Tull? What was his song about? Going up the pool or going down the pool? Good night, everybody. We will catch you next time on the Old Tube Radio Network.
But I wanted to check in one, Dennis. Dennis?
Yeah, I had wires in the way. I was trying to find my cables here. Do you have an item of interest for us?
Yes, the General Radio Telephone, the Super MC11A. Run with a stock microphone, over. I was late.
Hey, not a problem. Let me see. I've still got everything fired up. Are the archives? Okay, the archives are still up. So for those who are saying, if that is like a super loud radio, what is that? We'll put up a shot of the Super MC11A. The earlier and the only general radio telephone that we had tonight was the MC5. This is a couple years down the road where they added a few more tubes and figured out the ECL 800 was good for modulation. I'll pin you in as lucky number 13 on the general radio telephone. Take a transmission.
Okay, Dennis, yeah, I'm sorry. We got watching the show, and you know how that goes, you know. Got to spend time with the wife watching TV and stuff. But anyway, no, I did want to get this in, and I had to run to the John real quick, and I come out, and you was already... anyway, I got it warmed up just enough time to hopefully I would get it, and I said, come on, Dennis, stop talking, Dennis. Come on, you know you want to listen to this one.
And you were right. You know I do want to listen to this one. It's sort of like running into Mervyn's. You know, there's open, and then you run in, and the guy, the door monitor is there with the lock thing. But see, I won't look at you like, oh no, one of those. I will welcome you through the door because we like tube radios.
Oh, I do too. But thank you, Dennis, for taking that extra moment for me.
Hey, and likewise, like I said, you could have stayed in the comfy chair, but you jumped into the radio room to give us the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, and hopefully you are not going to be in trouble when you return. Maybe no one knows you left.
Oh, she knows. I can see her feet from right here where she's sitting in an easy chair.
All right, well, we'll go back to the easy chair. Thanks for giving us Radio 13. Over.
Okay, Des, thank you. And the great net, what I heard of it, and I did hear some of it, I definitely did. So, but definitely thank you very much, and we will talk to you later during the week if you get on the band, and also I will hear you next Saturday. Have a good evening.
We will be there. All right, good night, everybody. I'm not even sure what screen I should have up here, but the Old Tube Radio Network is standing by listening.
My turn.
The door is still open. The door monitor guy left. He's left already, so I'm in charge of the door. Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of lost track of time there. Number 20 on a Browning R2700A receiver and a compact transmitter. D104 on amplified mic.
Oh, the Browning compact. I'm going to have to get... I don't think we have a really good Rolodex with the compact Browning. So take a transmission. I'll see if I can find... Okay, I do have a shot. It's not easy to get, but I'll find it while you are talking. Over.
Okay. I'll talk for a little bit. The buddy of Paul's
I did work on that, and we talked about it, and I did change a little thing in there, and it chirps, of course. And when I had gotten my buddy, and I'd been wanting one since the late or mid-'60s, I guess, I was changing caps, and I didn't have the right one. I put one in that was a little bit too big, and it chirped, so I left it. I asked Paul about that. He said, yeah, why not? So his chirps. Anyway, there you go. And as far as realistic tube radios, 11-meter radios, they have many. There's been a TRC-5 on eBay for a long time, and pristine shape. Guy wants way too much for it. And then on the 23-channel type, and besides the one Paul has there, there's the Realistic Americana, and they painted it kind of reddish, red graphics on it, and Bill picked one up, and he powder-coated a cherry red cabinet. And nobody wanted that when he was moving, and I ended up with that one. And there it is. There's my compact. Except I have the Browning metal knobs, similar to what's on that receiver. I've got that on the transmitter, the metal knob. And but that's what it looks like.
Great. This is not a really great shot. For those who don't have the video, but might be familiar with, I'm trying to think the compact, like the 180, the amplifier, the business band amp. Would you say the compact is even narrower than that? Over?
The compact transmitter is even more narrow than the 180. I'm looking at the 180 or the 170 box, which is a few feet away, and this one is about 3/4 width of that.
That's what I'm seeing, because it's next to the receiver, and I said that is living up to its name, being very compact. For those who just aren't familiar with that, so if you're a Browning fan and you've got the business band amp, this little transmitter might actually fit on the table if you don't have room.
Roger. And this is one of two models that do not have a power supply. You get the power from the receiver. The T2700, that or the other model of the T2700, and I think it's T2700S or something. One of those two has the power supply, the other doesn't. And this one is like the one that doesn't. And this is about the same width, I think, that the T2700 is. And this was the, I think, second or third something transmitter that they came out with. They actually came out with the S9 transmitter first.
Wonder if this was one of those executive table decisions, saying, maybe we need something that's not so intimidating, for people to start out with. Anyway, they're very rare. I didn't even know they existed until we started checking them in here, and I'm laughing at one of our SWLs. Gary made a comment about not locking the green loom that he has dishes to do, and I will not. In fact, that's exactly probably what I'm going to do when I get done is do some dishes. So we'll be working the night shift together. It's really good audio. I don't know if you're listening in on the replay or whatever, but If you told me you were on the biggest, baddest Browning, I would say fine. And just because the box is small, it doesn't seem to affect how it sounds over.
Well, that's good to know. Power supply-wise, because it's getting it from the receiver, it's actually getting for inner voltage. So it's getting probably 60, 70 volts less on plate voltage and or the high voltage to the tubes. It's running a little less, but seems to do okay. Of course, I do have something behind it, a little modulator, but I can turn that off and let you know what it sounds like by itself.
Trying to find the key down. Yeah, I've got the S meter up on the screen. I just did your frequency check at 27084.5, somewhere in there. So go ahead and take a transmission minus the Harvey range boost, and I'm sure you will still be fine, but certainly probably not S9.
Okay. This is me just with the transmitter all by itself there.
Fine. Maybe it lost an S unit. Not as loud, but it still looks good. Still has forward movement on the meter over.
Roger. I turned it back on because the station's more than a few miles away. You have trouble hearing me, though. There's a big drop-off. Anyway, that's what we got, and next week I'll have some paperwork out on this so you know what these things sold for back in the day.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Oh, did you happen to hear Mitch coming in on the link with the D201? It's rare that we get a D201 with the Vox. So we got another radio out there that's got a Vox now.
Oh yeah, I was in this room listening to them come through on the radio, and then I have a Samsung pad set up in the room now, and so I have the show on there, and since the pad's got a decent sized screen, better than my cell phone, or bigger, so it comes out a lot better. Speakers in the pad are a lot better, and it sounded really good. I like that. That's something that the people in South Korea could try.
Who knows? I mean, that's a first after 35 years to do something like that, but it worked out. It actually worked out fairly well, and we got a check-in out of it. So that's the main thing. Thumbs up to Mitch and the check-in. All right, we've got an extra radio with the R2700A and the compact transceiver. I forgot to thank our sponsor today. Something new. These just came in. They re-upped to Scotty's Service, AM/FM CB paging and communication systems in Anderson, Indiana, and of course, all of you.
Okay, take it easy. We'll catch you next week, and for certain people out there, I've got about another week or so of everyday work, and hey, then I'll have some time to do some really important work. Okay, catch you next week.
Yeah, I know that kind of important work. It may require getting up on the roof, so let us know. Let us know if you need someone to hold the ladder or you need someone to go up the ladder. And there is 360. Hello, Ray. I did get you checked in. Good night to everybody. The old tired tube radio network. We'll be back next week. Is there a football game going on? Something? That's next week. I don't know. I don't even have a TV. I just hang out on Saturday nights. Good night, everybody.
Who needs TV? We have radio.
You got that right.
Thanks, Dennis.
Good evening, Dennis. Thank you.
if you don't have a CB but you have a CAT, that's even better.
Hey, there's some AM guys on 3870 tonight, so if you're...
I looked up winter field day, and it looks like that started
3870 here on the West Coast, some AM stuff.
I just, we sure are.
Don't hear the East Coast guys. 75 meters. Oh, and there's the field day. That's right. It's CQFD from a 7.
Kilo 7, Uniform Victory Alpha, calling CGBLA.
3845, so maybe we'll have to give some field day contacts. I don't know if we'll hear anything on 40, probably not. The band is going to be long, but 75 meters is sounding pretty good tonight. All right, good night, everybody. Catch you next week.
It's no problem. Slightly under 2 to 1. I can get about 800 volts out of it out here. Whiskey Yankee 0 Alpha. Whiskey Yankee 0 Alpha. It's Whiskey Yankee 0 Alpha. WY0A. Roger, roger. Got it. I have 1 Hotel Kansas, Kilo Sierra.
We are in the Pacific time zone, so it's UTC -8, where it is approximately 10:50 in the AM. And it got very quiet. Or better yet, yes, 2250. And thanks 23, that worked out well. We should be checking in that radio quite often, I hope.
6 Kilo Alpha Papa. Good evening. 1 Hotel Orange. Roger. Thank you. QR6 Kilo 7. Captain America. You have 160. Okay, very good. If you feel that Kilo 7.